And now, to our graduate address. What follows is a true story about this year's commencement speaker, as reported recently by a teacher who was chaperoning an off-campus activity with 40 or so Episcopal knights. Now, these knights were indeed a diverse group. They were boys and girls, old and young, students and artists, athletes and acolytes, a real cross-section of our community. Now, as happens during downtime in groups like this, they started discussing one another and their peers. And when today's speaker's name arose, here's some of what these observant young people had to say. And these, by the way, are verbatim. The teacher actually wrote them down. He was so impressed. So here goes. The nicest guy on the whole campus, always with a smile on his face. He really cares about others. He's a wildly talented athlete. He's funny. He's kind, so kind. I have a class with him, and he's also really smart, but not show-offy at all about it. Now, when your peers have so much good to say about you, it stands to reason that you must have some terrific things to say about your peers. That's one of the reasons why we asked scholar, athlete, friend, captain, kind soul, and Baylor University's newest freshman, Preston Hurd, to address you today. Preston.
Good afternoon to the faculty, trustees, and of course, my classmates, the class of 2016. Theodore Roosevelt once described the man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. What President Roosevelt is talking about is taking risks. He's urging us to put ourselves out there and attempt to be great, to not fear failure, but instead, if we do fall short, to use that failure as motivation to keep pushing until we reach our goals. Now, a lot of us don't have a dream to chase right now because we're still trying to find our passion. And until we find it, we will be living our day-to-day lives in search of it. Many of us will go on to college and join sororities and fraternities, which is a great way to meet new people and expand our horizons. But it can do more harm than good if it's what we live for. So for those of us who haven't yet established our goals, let's live for others, putting our talents to work by improving the lives of those around us. Now, we have an overwhelming amount of talent in this class. Each one of you has unique gifts that are custom tailored to you and make you the person that you are. Some of us are gifted with the ability to spread joy. Blaine Fertitta is often stressed with the self-imposed burden of making sure everyone around her is happy. You love to please others, Blaine. And because of that, and you feel responsible for the happiness of your friends. This leads you to do things that nobody else would do, like getting a living gnome to stroll through our cafeteria and pass out cookies. Good. You care about us, and because of that, you single-handedly made the highlight of our senior year. Speaking of spreading joy, Hope Meekle is always smiling and laughing, especially at her own jokes. You're a hard worker, Hope, but you always seem to find time for fun, and people feed off of your fun-loving energy. Some of us have a relentless work ethic. Gilbert Sosa is always on the move, putting plans in motion and working towards his dream of becoming a big-shot Hollywood director. Though we sometimes have to tell him to slow down and catch his breath, his hard work and can-do attitude is something that we can all learn from. A few of us have been blessed with humility. Reagan Reitmeyer is a guy who got a near-perfect score on his ACT, plays the violin at church every Sunday in front of hundreds of people, is going to a school that has a below 8% acceptance rate. It's called the Naval Academy. I'm sure you've heard of it. Where he has the opportunity to play both football and baseball. Thankfully, he made the right decision. He's playing football. But the coolest part of it is, you would never know any of this by talking to him, because that's the kind of guy he is, humble. Some of us are blessed with a great sense of humor. Gio Pancotti, you're a goofy guy. That's something we all know very well. And you like to bring that goofiness with you into stressful situations, like a 4th and long to win the game, or the moment before a physics final that we think we were all going to fail. It's an ability that you have to ease the tension in stressful situations when everyone else is pulling their hair and hyperventilating. It's calming, comforting, and it reminds us to take a deep breath and remember that it's just life. Now, I could go on all day until I touched on every person in this class. And the point of it is this: you all have strengths. You all have God-given gifts that can take you to the top. The only thing standing between you and your goal is an attempt. So make that attempt. Be the man in the arena. Brian Kirksey, if you want to be the CFO of a Fortune 500 company, go do it. Jeffrey Aaron, if you want to be a hedge fund manager, go do it. Sol Coram, if you want to harvest medical crops in Alaska, go do it. Don't listen to the people who tell you that you can't or that you will likely fail. The truth is that we are all afraid of failure, but we shouldn't be. Because in defeat, we know that we put ourselves out there, that we dared greatly. And as we learn from our failures and from our defeats, we find what it takes to succeed. Class of 2016, I love you all dearly. Congratulations, and go get them. Thank you.